Welcome we're in Long Beach, California, but it looks like you are on Watopia Island and being joined by very, very special guest, our Amgen Tour of California ambassador. And actually, let's go ahead and start rolling because he is welcome to California, Jens.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for showing up here. Let's have a good time today.
Well, and we have some special guests joining us. Right now, we're kind of asking Jens if you could keep it in between that 2 and 3 watts. That would be nice, as we are joined by a couple Zwifters that it's a real honor to have with us here. As right now, Justin Terry. I'm going to grab a quick word with Justin. Pretty nice to have a chance to say hi to Jens before the ride today, Justin.
This is amazing. Once in a lifetime experience.
How long have you been on Zwift, man?
For about a year.
Right, and so what we did about a month ago, we had a contest where everybody who rode out there had a chance to be entered, and you were one of our lucky winners, so I hope you're having a great life experience here.
Oh, this is amazing.
All right, so that's Justin Terry. Justin going to be rolling out now, and then Justin is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. And Jens, you probably have some pretty good memories from the tour to Georgia. I think that's kind of where a lot of us in America first met you.
Yeah, that's true. We did it in 2004. I managed to finish second in the overall. Second or third up to Busstown Bald. That is a vicious big climb. But it's good. One thing I remember about Atlanta or Georgia is when people say, hi, how are you? They go, hi, y'all. I remember that.
Good. Well, hang on to those things. And then I'm going to take look at on Jens's right-hand side here. This is Mark Todd joining us from beautiful Salt Lake, or actually Lehigh, Utah. So welcome to you. How's your experience in California been, Mark?
It's been amazing. Enjoyed every minute of it.
And now you are a masters racer. I know we have a lot of friends in Utah as well, going back through many, many years of the Tour of Utah. And I bet you we have a common friend riding on Zwift right now back home in, I guess he's in Heber Valley. But John Gallagher, if you're out there, let's see if you can hang with Mark today.
He should have no problem.
Well, good. All right. So kind of nice to be checking in. Jens, your career, I mean, it's just amazing. I had a chance to look at Wikipedia last night. Have you ever looked at your own Wikipedia page?
No, I think it's kind of like freaky to Google yourself. I never really did it, no.
Well, I think you'd be a little freaked out if you saw your Wikipedia page, because there is an unbelievable amount of data and detail about your racing career. And we were talking about it earlier with our Zwift friend, Mike McCarthy, about going back to winning the 1992 Peace Race. When you look back at your career, I can only imagine the memories you've got, Jens.
It was a long career, 33 years of cycling, 18 years as a professional. So, a third of a century I did ride my bike. I'm only married for, 13 years, 14 years this year. I know my wife for 21 years, so cycling definitely was a big factor of my life.
So, Jens, you joined us before the Amgen Tour of California last year for our first ever Zwift public ride. What changes do you notice in Zwift now from the first time you rode it? Because you've been a good friend of ours along the way.
Well, we did a lot of improvements. You know, the whole software runs a lot smoother, better, faster. There's more courses, different circuits. There's the possibility to choose a workout session, so you can look for intervals, and they give you like a prepared program for that. You can go completely flat. You can do a proper serious climb up here, and you can just cruise along. So they constantly keep improving. Every time you show up, there's something new going on.
Yeah, well, I would absolutely agree. So taking a look over here now with Mark. So when you're out here riding in this group, this is the large, well, you guys were with about a 300 rider group, weren't you, when you qualified to win this Jens ride opportunity?
Yes, I believe so.
So when you're out there riding, Mark, do you look for friends? Do you ever try to meet up with people and plan on riding together?
Yeah. I haven't done a lot of the group ride features, but if I'll scan through the rider list and see if I know someone and try to ride with them if they're out there.
That's been one of the things, Jens, for a guy, I'm sure during your career you're probably 20,000 miles a year on the bike, and being able to do some of them on Zwift and control the environment, and I mean, as a guy, a father of 5 kids, is that six kids? I'm sure there are times, Lawrence Tendam talked about that, maybe knocking out an hour of quality riding in the morning when you can still be around the family before you go do a big day.
Yes, definitely it is. I sometimes do it very often later. The little kids are in bed. Well, the older kids, they don't need daddy to come around to their rooms anymore, but little ones then in bed, and then around 7, 8 sometimes it's quiet, like 8 at night, quiet in the house. Yeah, you just hop on a Zwift, get in your cycling nicks, get a shirt, and you ride for an hour 30. Just get a little workout, sweat a little bit, make the muscles work a little bit. So it's really easy and convenient.
It probably would have been nice if it came along earlier in your career, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can really do some proper workouts, and like you say, like completely controlled environment. It never rains or hails on you on Zwift. There's never snowfall or hurricanes on Zwift, so it's a good way to get some training in, that's for sure.
So as we talk with Jens, my name is Dave Towle. I do bicycle commentary, and Jens, through the years, I'd have to say that your stage win at the Amgen Tour of California going back a couple years ago, that was quite a day of racing for sure, and at that finish line, it really was the perfect finish for the crowd as well, with that uphill little kicker that brought you to the line, and the drama of that day, the field splitting. I'm going to say that was my favorite day watching you race in the U.S. Do you have one day that stood out for you? Was that day as special to you as it was to us?
Well, obviously, I would like also my win in the Tour of Colorado or US Pro Challenge. I had a 140 kilometer solo, won a stage with I think 6 minutes at once.
That was Beaver Creek. That was a crazy day.
Yes, and the best on that day was the win and all that. Yeah, it's good. But Lindsay Fonn handed me the trophy. That was the highlight of my life.
I can only imagine that was a pretty cool day.
And I got a chance to kiss her on the cheeks.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. She lives up there. So I'm going to bounce over to Justin. How you doing, man? You feeling all right?
I'm doing well.
All right, good. I mean, you're an experienced Zwifter, so you know what this is about. So, hey, how would you classify yourself as a bike racing fan? Were you a Jens guy along the way?
I mean, absolutely. Who can't like Jens and sort of the passion that he brought to the sport?
Good. So, hey, all right. It looks like the group is staying together much better than the Freddie ride or the Lawrence ride here. It looks, yeah. So right now, I'm still trying to figure out how many riders we have, but it always seems like when you get the critical mass of getting a bunch of people out there riding, it looks like more fun. Is that true for you?
Oh, absolutely. Because even if you're on like a game, you still feel like there's other people out there kind of sharing the experience, and it motivates you to keep going.
Right on. All right, so let's see. We're doing 3 total laps here today, so we'll let you know when we're completing lap number 1. You'll be able to tell. You'll be making your way under that Amgen Tour of California finish banner there, and exactly like the one that Jens won going underneath in Avila Beach a couple of years ago. You know, I got to ask, Jens, looking back through your career, that 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney, you've got some nice connections with Australia as well. I think your professional career kind of kicked off there. And how special was that day for you?
Well, I raced the first time I raced as an amateur in '94 in Australia. Commonwealth Bank Classic, cycle race in New South Wales. Finishing with a last stage crit in Canberra. We had a Darling Harbour stage in Sydney. Some good mountains as well. And 2000 Olympics, I did 2000 Sydney, 2004 Athens, and 2008 Beijing.
And a lot of people give you a fair share of credit for helping Jan Ullrich win that gold medal.
Oh yeah, I mean I finished, 56th, 57th that race, but I was on the break of the day and I made sure that nothing unforeseen, nothing happens which we couldn't control anymore. So I guess a little bit I helped him, to win that gold medal for sure.
It has to be an amazing feeling. So as we're rolling along now, once again, I got to give everybody credit. Nice tempo out here today. Looks like a little bit of separation starting to happen. But Jens, you got a good group with you here, man.
I do, and I mean for being a group leader, I be in position 50 now. So I'm starting getting dropped here. People, please be gentle with me.
So I got to give you credit as well, Jens, for your post-racing career. Looks like things are going really well. You got a few, as we say in America. Actually, we've got Kelly Staley and Ryan Ung joining us from the Amgen Tour of California. We were joking about some of the American turns of phrase that maybe a European wouldn't know. And I was just going to say, you got a lot of balls in the air talking about juggling. I don't know if there's a German equivalent of that, but you do. Got a lot of things going on. And one of the things we really appreciate is being an ambassador for the Amgen Tour of California.
Well, I really got to say, being an ambassador for a race like that is just one of my best jobs I have. I be also an ambassador for Down Under in Australia. So I love going to these places. Beautiful country, Australia, beautiful state of California. It's always one of the highlights in my year to come back here and be part of it. I mean, I did every single Tour of California since it started. 9 times as a bike rider, and this year will be my second time after retirement. And talking about having to juggle all the balls in the air. One of them is we just finished our book. It's in a print. It's going to be out sort of May. And I give you guys one guess. What would be a book called written by Jens? Yes, exactly. Shut up, Lex.
Well, and when would people be able to buy that?
Sort of May. It's out in the shops.
All right, so buy the book, come see you at the Amgen Tour of California, connect those dots. Sounds perfect.
I signed the book.
And I got to say, Jens, for you, we've always watched you. As you said, doing the Tour de Georgias along the way. You probably did Tour of Missouri even in your career, right? And throughout all that time, your interaction with the American fans, there's two things. You've always been incredibly generous, but it doesn't look like you've ever had enough time because you've always got to go race your bike. You've been busy. Has it been nice being able to maybe spend an extra minute with people now that you're not out there in the peloton?
Definitely it is, because I like interacting with the people. I'm a social person. I like to talk to people. I like to meet. And I remember like countless times my team were like, "Jens, get back in the bus. You want to go to the hotel."
Well, they must have hated you at times. I mean, in a good way. But like everybody has to wait until Jens is done signing autographs?
Yes. Right. After the race, they didn't like it. Before the race, it made their life easier. They said, we just send Jens out, and then we can all go to the sign-on without anybody asking us anything. We just send Jens out first, and he has to sign everything, and we have an easy morning.
So Jens, riding, let's check in over here. Mark, things going okay?
Going great.
So, hey, did you ever have a chance to come? I definitely remember Jens racing at the Tour of Utah. Did you ever have a chance to come out and watch that race and see him out there performing?
Yeah, several times.
Nice. That I would have to imagine, Jens, is Utah to me, as we have, this group is hauling. You guys are really moving well here. Utah, because one of the things we remember is the geocaching and how you really are an outdoorsman as well. Utah must have been a pretty cool experience for you.
It is, absolutely. I mean, Utah looks really like the Wild West in the old John Wayne movie. Like the Red Rock Canyon we went through once or twice. It's just breathtakingly beautiful.
When you were a kid growing up in East Germany, what did you think about America when you were 16 years old?
Well, 16 years old, I probably thought, yes, it is the land of freedom, because remember, when I was 16, there were another 2 years before the wall actually came down. And I'm from East Germany, so I lived close enough to the border that I could receive some West German TV, so I would have an idea of how it looks on the other side.
Wasn't the story you were always saying that they told you that you should feel sorry for the guys on the other side of the fence?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we have been told in school is that we lived on the good side of the Iron Curtain, and you poor guys, you were locked out on the bad side of the world. That's how we have learned in school, yes?
And one of the best things about sport is how it brings people together from around the world and puts you on a level playing field, and you get to find out what people are really about. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely it is. And one of the reasons one of the things I love about cycling is it gives me a chance to travel the world. I ride and raced my bike in 36 countries. Basically, I covered every continent of the world. You meet different religions, different cultures, languages. It's just really, it widens your horizon to see all the different places and countries. That's one of the benefits of being a cyclist.
You said 38. Are you counting Watopia as an independent country? I'm not sure that you can, I don't know that they're in the United Nations.
Well, they should actually have asking for membership. Why not?
No, absolutely. You could be the president or prime minister of Watopia.
Yeah, I guess probably being the financial minister would be an interesting job. Yeah, that might be a good job.
I say put the German guy in the finance area. So now Jens coming in, and please feel free to tweet your questions to @GoZwift. But the question is, this is a good one, actually. Weirdest thing that you've ever had, or maybe, okay, I'll put it two ways. Weirdest thing you ever found in your musette bag, and then the weirdest thing that maybe you would ask for.
Well, there was a while where we actually started the race, or we get some avocado slices, because they apparently have like the good fat in them.
You probably want to get right to those too, don't you?
Yeah, of course, as long as they're fresh. What I like is every now and then at some hard races, they would put like a little Snicker bar or like a Mars bar in there, just to cheer up your motivation and, like lift the spirit a little bit on a cold and rainy day. So yeah, we always like this ones.
Right, so how's Team Jens doing here, guys? Justin looks really comfortable, actually. Looks pretty world tour over there right now. Both the guys are sitting in the group because Mark's doing just fine as well. So looks like we found the Jens ride sorted out two heavy hitters here, Jens.
Well, also we try to keep it in a controlled speed, controlled effort. And if I look at the watts per kilo of the other riders around me, everybody's in between 2 to 3 watts per kilo. So that should be a speed most of us can hold. And if I see it correctly on the bottom line, it says we have 560, 570 riders on Watopia in a moment. That's pretty good.
Actually, that is awesome. Thank you to everybody joining us out there. That's a record by far. This is the Jens effect. I think that we were sitting pretty close to 300 previously. So once again, Jens, thanks a ton for coming out and joining us. I know you got a big ride coming up on Sunday, Le Top, where you're going to get a look at Gibraltar. Everybody's been talking about what a fantastic climb that's going to be, and brutal.
Yes, absolutely brutal. There are some really steep portions on that climb. It's going to be a hilltop finish. It's a queen stage or king stage, whatever you want to say, of the Tour of California this year. And I'm really happy that I got a first-hand experience, because after I'm going to do some commentating for NBC during the Tour of California, so I actually know what I talk about. If you look at the screen now, we just finished our first lap, and I hope speed is good and everybody's still happy.
Jens, I think they are. Mark is doing really well. He's breathing through his nose right now over here, so no problem for him. And Justin coming over to see how Mr. Terry's doing, and he's doing great. So, all right. Do you have any favorite Jens racing moment there, Justin? Kind of putting you on the spot, I know.
How about at the Tour of California, when he finished the race, and he gave that very famous quip. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but
we'll take our chances.
They asked him about his attack, and he said, well, you can bleep this out. Sometimes I just get confident because I'm motherfucking Jens Voigt.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, Jens, that is one of the things we always appreciated about you during your career was you're accessibility. You're always there. I mean, I remember as I was talking about that stage into Avila Beach, you were collapsed on the finish line sitting down, but you were still happy to do an interview.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's easy to understand that we have to be open and available or accessible to the fans, because it's actually the fans that make the sport great. What would be the Super Bowl in an empty stadium? Nothing. What would be the Tour de France without spectators? So these spectators give us a chance to shine. They give us a chance to share our passion. And some of them, they actually buy a flight ticket. They spend $1,000 on ticket, on hotel rooms. So who am I to deny a picture with these people? They come to support me. So actually, we should actually roll out the red carpet for the fans, because they are what makes our sport great, and they are the people that make our sport alive.
So if you had to, if cycling was not an option for you, what sport do you think you would have gone with? I know you just ran a half marathon. Was it, I'm going to say Sunday? Yesterday?
It was yesterday in Canada. I had a free morning in Vancouver. My job was done. I got picked up around noon at the hotel to go to the airport. So I said, you know what? My running is going well. Let's try to push the limits a little bit. So I said, yeah, 21 kilometers should be possible. So I did a half marathon, 1 hour 28, little less than 90 minutes. Was pretty good, but I still have a little bit of sore legs today.
I can only imagine. So having a chance, it is kind of a unique experience today, having a couple special Zwift friends joining us. And, and it's also unique, I think, that Jens has happened to have raced in both of your home states. What's your favorite ride to do out of Salt Lake City, Mark? Are you a Cottonwood kind of guy?
More of a Immigration Canyon, Big Mountain kind of guy.
Nice. And I mean, but when we're talking about those climbs, they're as legit as they get. That's not something that we would send someone new to cycling out on, is it?
Immigration's not too bad. Big Mountain's a little more difficult, but...
Well, it's been nice to see in your home region there, the state of Utah, how embracing cycling has been over the last 10 years, you see more and more people out there riding. It looks like it's really starting to thrive in your home state, which is, as a cyclist yourself, got to be really nice to see you're part of that.
Yeah, for sure. The more people, the better.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that I love about Jens is cycling is a hard sport, but you got to have a sense of humor. You got to be able to laugh at yourself a little bit, and he helps us all do that, I think.
Yep. Definitely.
All right, well, have you seen Gallagher?
No, I'm looking for him. I don't think he's out there.
All right, we'll keep our eyes peeled for sure. If you have a Gallagher sighting, Mark, you got to holler. All right. Yeah, this is the underwater tunnel section. Yeah, it's a great place for you to attack.
It is, because the slightly uphill to come out of the tunnel. The first time I saw the new Watopia course back when it was out new, I called the kids, hey kids, come, there's a whale on my screen. They're like, oh, look at that, there's a whale, you're in a tunnel underwater. They were blown away. And I remember, sometimes the kids, they still do it. They show up, the little girls. One pretends is my manager. The other one is my physiotherapist, so she gives me like fresh water bottles. And the other one is doing my press attaché. So the 3 girls stand next to me and pretend they're doing interviews with me and giving me fresh bottles and food. So they be my support team.
I absolutely love that story. And I mean, that's one of the things, Jens, when you've gone to races, the impact that you handing there's a great photo I saw from Paris-Roubaix of a rider handing a water bottle to a kid. And you always have to remember what it was like when you were 6 or 8 years old and going to a bike race and the unbelievable impact that had. I think that's the power that you've been blessed with, man, is like when you do have the opportunity to affect these lives, you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said a little bit earlier, these fans give us a chance to make our sport look great. So every little bit we can give back. Why not? And every child you give a water bottle to is excited. And maybe you just want a fan for a lifetime.
Yeah, and it's bigger than cycling sometimes too, isn't it? It might not just be about inspiring that kid to be a cyclist, but how about just putting a smile on that kid's face? Maybe that kid's not having a great year.
Yep, that's also like some of the reasons where you want to give back something is that after this I go to Australia
They're awesome down there too. Are they, comparable to the American fans, aren't they? With enthusiasm and knowledge, and maybe I'm not going to say the European fans are jaded, but there's certainly a difference between the Americans and the Europeans. And I think aren't the Australians more like the U.S. fans, or is that not true?
No, definitely it's true. They do show a lot of passion. I mean, in California, the people have once in a year the chance to see the professional or the European professionals coming here. Same in Australia was down under. It's a once in a year chance. So they do show up in large numbers and full of passion. Maybe the difference between the US and the Australian fans is the Australian fan maybe drinks 1 or 2 more beers.
That might be fair. You know, I was thinking back, Jens, to 2012 and Amgen Tour of California, and this is pre-Shut Up Legs, right? 2012 is, because Shut Up Legs was more like a 2014 thing, I'd say. But there were a ton of Jens Voigt for president signs. Remember those?
Yes, I do.
Are you willing to run?
Well, I could become a senator, I believe, or governor, but...
It's the nationality issue.
But why not?
You've got my vote.
I mean, I think I could do something like Donald Trump. I can do that.
Believe me, I'll take my chances with you anytime. What do you think about that, Justin? Jens Voigt for president. We can amend the Constitution.
I mean, I guess given our current options, I've heard a lot worse ideas.
We'll leave that be. But Jens, you actually are spending a lot of time in the United States as far as doing your ambassador work. And I would imagine that between the United States and Australia, you got to be even missing Germany a bit.
Well, last year I had 3 trips to Australia and 7 trips to the US.
How many miles? How many frequent flyer miles did you? You got to be a 100,000K guy, right?
I guess so. I didn't really look that close at it, but yes, I do. I too add up a few miles here. Yes, absolutely. How did
the travel work for you during your career? You mentioned racing in, was it 38 countries that you said that you raced in? And to get to that many races, you got to travel a lot of kilometers to get there. How'd you handle the travel?
Well, the traveling is okay because it gives you time to read a book and relax. It's just the stress before, after the flights. Bike is missing, bike is broken, plane is delayed. I had a few times where the plane couldn't start because technical failures, you miss your flight. One time we came touchdown in Berlin and the rear brake of the plane jams and the plane goes into the grass. So it's just the adventures on the side is sometimes a little stressful. The flying part is okay for me.
So hey, another question coming in, and once again, just go to @GoZwift if you are not already on Twitter. But obviously with the classics going on right now, one of the best times to be a cycling fan for sure. And the question coming in, Jens, what sort of workouts did you do to prepare for the classics? Were there any specific elements that you added because the classics were coming up?
Well, my way of racing, I was never a sprinter, never a climber. So a program I often did would be 10 times 1 minute full gas efforts in order to simulate attacking or jumping across to a break. You know, like sometimes the breakaway just forms from the peloton and you got like this 1 more minute to make it or not. So I would do 10 times 1 minute, like super maximal, but like almost max. 3 minutes break in between and then another minute. That would be a program that helped me a lot for my attacking style.
Power intervals, it sounds like.
Yes, I guess you could say that, yes.
I bet you that was one of your real strengths, no doubt about it. Group starting to string out a little bit now, Mark? Are they lifting the tempo?
It seems to be holding fairly steady. Yeah, I think we're all right.
All right, so where is Jens right now in relation to you? Do you know?
Well, right now he's 7 meters behind me.
Oh, good. You got Jens on the ropes.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Lighten up a little so he can catch up.
There you go. Good man. We appreciate that. All right, so checking in over here. So if we look up from Jens' position, we can see our man Mark. Justin, where are you right now in the group here?
Coming right up on Jens.
Perfect. Good positioning. Big part of the whole thing. You always want to be in the Jens group, we learned along the way. Boy, It is just great to see 565 riders joining us. As I say that, we lost one there. I don't know what happened.
No, and it's also the 20 we see on the screen, plus the 565 on top. So yeah, we close to 600 here.
I see GS Boulder represented, my hometown there. We have quite a few. Actually, one of the nice things about Zwift for the Boulder riders that get stuck in snowstorms is this is certainly a much better 3 or 4 hours on the bike than just riding on the train or watching Jens racing in the 1998 Paris-Roubaix for the 800th time.
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a virtual reality, and it's beautiful weather here. No, it makes riding the home trainer a lot more fun. Plus, you can get connected, or you can stay connected to your friends all over the world or all over the country, or even in town, Maybe your friend just lives like a mile down the road, but since it's shit weather outside, you go, hey, you know what? How about we meet in half an hour on Zwift? So Zwift is almost like a Facebook for cyclists. You can keep contact with the people you like.
So as we're watching once again, I always have trouble telling the Australian and the New Zealand flag apart, but I guess that's not going to be a problem anymore. Isn't New Zealand changing their flag? So that should be make it easier for me.
That's another one thing I follow. I mean, I'm a curious person. They just had that vote, and it was close, but they voted to stay with the old flag.
Oh, they did?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was too involved in the Bodie McBoatface voting.
Okay. There you go.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, explain.
In England, they put it out to the public to name a new public service boat that was going to part of the government service, and the English people came up with Bodie McBoatface, which I thought was relatively humorous.
Well, yeah, the Brits are famous for their dry humor, so there's another example for that, yes?
All right, so going over this bridge now, we're good lap and a half in, so we should be just through the midway point now. We'll see that Amgen Tour of California banner. Yeah, you mentioning some of your great rides in the United States. I've always wondered, Jens, you wore the yellow jersey 2 times in the Tour de France in your career. It's such a different experience, isn't it, wearing that jersey versus riding a breakaway to the finish and having that immense, the crowd just going nuts versus the all-day love that the yellow jersey gets.
Well, definitely wearing the yellow jersey changed my career. I mean, you just got so much more recognized, and it's an acknowledgement of, okay, you must have been a good rider because you have the yellow jersey in Tour de France.
And everybody in the world knows what that means, right?
Yes, that's actually true. So, I mean, it's like a little bit like a doctor title, or like when you get a knighthood, it stays with you for a lifetime, that title. And like nobody knows that I won a Tour of Bavaria 3 times. But
Criterium International 5 times, right?
But wherever I show up, they go, here's Jens Voigt, former yellow jersey in the Tour. So that's a title that stays with you for a lifetime.
I think it's sort of like, it's got to be frustrating for the guys that, rode the Tour de France many times in their career but never had a yellow jersey. It's like being an astronaut that never got to go to space.
That's true, yeah. I mean, there's only a selected number of people that have a chance to do it, but that makes it so precious.
Yeah, and so when we look back at that, we're talking early 2000s there. What was the moment in your mind that you think you broke through with the American cycling fan? Because clearly something happened along the way, whether it was the internet, whether it was NBC Sports and Phil and Paul, the way you raced the United States, all of those things combined to make you, without a doubt, and I think my colleague Brad Soner would agree with me, through the years, the loudest that we've ever heard the crowd is when you're coming on stage. And that's not just to make you feel good, it just is what it is.
Definitely, it helped a lot to be good friends with Paul Sherman and Phil Leggett. I knew him since '94. And yeah, we became friends, or we still are friends. And it helps if they mention your name every now and then. I hope I can say it was also the way I raised my work ethics. I mean, when I won, I deserved it.
There's no doubt about that, Jens.
And if I didn't win, I didn't complain. I just wasn't good enough then. So it's not the other people's fault if I don't win. I was never looking for, easy excuses. So I hope it was my reliability, my loyalty to the team leaders. They actually gave me the respect of the other riders or of the public.
Hey, one of my favorite things, Jens, and I was asking earlier about, it was 11 months ago that we kind of introduced this technology and had a ride with you up in Sacramento. Zwift is constantly improving. We're seeing whether it's the new hill climb that they've added, there's always new features coming along. And just want to say thank you to all of the Zwift staff joining us. You guys are amazing. You really are. You've really changed the game. And Jens, along the way in your career, it takes a lot to impress a guy like you at this point. And I think it's fair to say Zwift certainly has.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a brilliant idea. And then to put that into reality, to make it actually really happen, make it functioning. I mean, you not only have to have the vision first, but you got to have the guts to actually take some money in your hands and make it happen.
You know, Jens, I always said this when you were out racing, that in order to win, you've got to be willing to risk losing it all. And I think that you could say the same thing with the Zwift folks. When John and Eric really got it going, you know, it wasn't like everybody's like, oh, that's a for sure thing. But now when you see where we're at, it is a for sure thing, and it's going to change the way people ride their bike. And I mean, it's not like Zwift is saying don't go ride your bike outside. It's saying when you can't ride your bike outside, man, we got a great alternative for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's a perfect tool for like a dark winter moment. But it's good all year long. I mean, you can always stay connected. You know, I mean, for example, if I would have thought about it before, I could have called up Bobby Julich in Europe and Stuart de Grey in Australia and go, hey boys, let's meet at Zwift. So it's a cool way to stay in contact with your friends.
It's interesting, so many of the riders, especially from your generation, Jens, are either really into the technology or not really into it at all. Is that fair to say? Not so many guys are in the middle. Like Julich, absolutely into it. Some other guys, you know, they could take or leave it.
That's true, yeah. It's I guess I have to say the older generation, even though I hate to use that word on myself, but that's what it is. Yes, some of them are like absolutely pro technology, and some people go, nah, I never used it, I don't need it.
I don't need a heart rate monitor, don't need a power meter, certainly don't need that. Yeah, well, I'm going to bounce over here and ask Mark, the first time that you ever rode Zwift, what inspired you to get on the bike? Oh, well, not get on the bike, you're an active master racer. What got you on to Zwift?
Well, the winters in Salt Lake are very long and very cold, so I was looking for an alternative to...
You make it sound so inviting.
Well, it is if you ski, but for trying to train on a bike, it gets a little rough on your trainer hour after hour. So when I first heard about it, I thought I'd give it a try, and I'm pretty much an early adopter with technology all the way around, so it was a great fit for me.
So that is Mark, our friend from Salt Lake City, or actually technically Lehigh, which is just a little bit south of Salt Lake, down by Thanksgiving Point. And how about you, Justin? It's always interesting to hear. At some point, I mean, do you read about Zwift? Do you see something online talking about it? What was your catalyst?
I think I saw an article about it in Bicycling Magazine, and I just really I tried trainers, they bored me. You know, it's worse than running on a treadmill. You just kind of sit there and try to think that you're doing anything but, you know, spinning your bike.
Time really couldn't move slower. It's like being a kid on Waiting for Christmas, isn't it?
Exactly. So I gave Zwift a try, and I loved it. It's really nice for like a before morning workout when you don't want to have to fight your way out of a neighborhood, try to get to wherever you normally ride, and have to kind of spend the extra time just to get there. Just to be able to kind of roll out of bed, hop on the trainer, and bang out like a really good 1 hour workout's great.
We talked with Lawrence, and actually Jens was talking about that a little earlier, but it seems like it allows you to maximize your time on the bike.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I think if you look sort of during the work week, thanks to Zwift, I certainly ride a lot more than I would have otherwise.
Yeah, it was interesting. Jens, I know when you were showing up here this afternoon, we had a chance to talk with Mike McCarthy, who's the 1992 World Pursuit Champion and a big part of the brain trust here at Zwift, and talking about some interesting facts. And one of them that I saw caught your eye, your guy's interested in this world, over 145 nations have had riders riding on Watopia. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is. I mean, that must be almost the whole world. You know, like, it's probably like, I don't know, way more than 3/4 of the whole world. No, that's That's a pretty good achievement.
I wouldn't even be too surprised. Is it Murdo Bay in Antarctica where all the scientists are? I bet you there's someone Zwifting down there.
Yep, I mean, it's probably yep, for sure. It's pretty cold up there maybe, and then you go, hey, let's warm up a little bit, you know?
Bring a couple penguins in with you and get it on, right? So, hey, we're talking about food a little bit earlier. I think most of the world is aware that Germans do food quite well. And what was your post-race go-to meal? What's Jens's thing?
Well, as a professional bike rider, you gotta eat healthy, or you gotta eat the good carbohydrates.
So it's not schnitzel.
No, unfortunately not. I do have a lot more schnitzel nowadays. There's one special German plate called Eisbein. It's part of a leg from a pig, and there's like an inch layer of fat around it, and it's 10 bazillion calories, but so delicious. So as a pro bike rider, I treated myself once a year with that. The first weekend after the season finished, I had one time Eisbein in a year.
So after you set the modern hour record there, I have to imagine it's a little bit of a bizarre feeling to realize that you don't have to wake up and train tomorrow morning and you can eat whatever you want. Did it take a little while for you to get used to the new life?
Definitely. I remember the first days after I woke up, got the kids to school like always, and went on a bike. And like 5 days into that, it hit me. I go, hey, WTF, what are you doing here? You know, so I like, just stop it, turn around, go to the coffee shop with your wife and have breakfast, you know, in town with your wife. So yes, just old habits die hard. And like only lately I discover I can go easy on the bike. Before I had to achieve certain objectives, certain miles, certain effort, certain heart rate, certain power output. I don't need all that anymore. So it took me a while to go from, okay, if I don't have to train, why should I go back on the bike at all? To actually now go back on the bike, go, you know what? This is fun. I meet some people and we can go to the next coffee shop, have a coffee, have ice cream. So I'm kind of like rediscovering the joy of cycling without the pain connected to it.
Perfect, I have to say, no doubt. You know, our friend, Zwift has a lot of friends in the World Tour peloton, and actually it was really cool to see Matt Heyman win Paris-Roubaix knowing that he had been on the trainer for 5 weeks. What are your thoughts about that, Jens, to win a race of that magnitude, not having ridden on the road really for a month and a half before the event? That's really unheard of, isn't it?
It is, and if you look at the whole history, I think it was his 16th participation. He raced with me in 2000, 2001 when I did Paris-Roubaix 2 years. He raced with me there. So
wow.
He's been around for a long time.
And he is one of, much like yourself, one of the good dudes of the peloton, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He always got a good smile. He's always, you know, ready for a joke to cheer somebody up. He's a really fair rider, hard-working guy. And after 16 tries or 15 years before, winning it in, you know, maybe your last or second last year, it's just like almost like a fairy tale. No, I was so happy for him.
That always says a lot. We just had an American win the Criterium National Championships with the same scenario, where just such a popular winner with his colleagues, and I think as a fan, that always a good indicator of you know, who the good guys are in the sport. Take a look at Twitter and see how many people of his group are congratulating him, and Jens, you always had that going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, also simply, you gotta show respect where respect is deserved. You know, I also like the picture where Tom Bonen finishes second, maybe in his last Roubaix, and with a big, wide, open smile, he hugs Matthew Heyman and goes, hey, congratulations. He wasn't bitter, he wasn't mad.
Yeah, you could see that as Heyman was walking up to the podium, the way he had a legitimate smile for him. Yeah, I felt the same way, actually, at Richmond World Championships when Peter won and how many of the athletes were there to give him a high five, too. It kind of reminds me of some of your wins.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice, but Peter is like my hero, Peter Sagan.
Guy is unbelievable, isn't he?
He is absolutely. He's just a legend. I mean, he makes cycling look so fun and easy, and he's just a really good person as well. And when he won, like, I guess nobody in the peloton would think, no, he didn't deserve it. Everybody was sort of like happy, and he's a really good world champion.
Jens, it might be a time to attack because I hear Mark is having some problems with his bike over here.
Oh, I should go out of the seat then and go full gas.
Well, what's going on, Mark? A little shifting action, huh?
I don't know. I'm not used to this fancy Di2.
Yeah, to be fair, we had the guys and Mark coming from Salt Lake City and Justin joining us from Atlanta and didn't bring their own bikes, but you're on some of our Zwift factory rides that we keep here at the world headquarters in Long Beach, California. This office is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
We're going to carve out a little spot. You can come here and ride anytime you want, Mark.
I'll take it.
Good. So Mark's hanging in there, barely breaking a sweat right now, Jens. So, and let's check in with our man, Justin Terry. Justin, boy, we're starting to see more international flags. I always like that. That's one of the things about cycling. It's the places it takes you as well. How's your time on Watopia going?
It's been going well. There's a really good turnout.
Yeah, this is, I think, pretty close to double the largest numbers we had. But like I said, having Jens here makes a big, big difference. That's for sure.
They didn't show up for me.
I don't know. We're not sure. We'll see if we can round up some Twitter questions for you as well out there. But, hey, good job, Justin. Keep it going. All right. That's our friend Justin Terry there from Atlanta, Georgia. All right, Jens, what's new over here? Everything copacetic?
I just talked to a gentleman next to me. He's on level 22. I'm only level 14. I need to improve that a little bit.
He's also making more watts than you.
Yeah, I know. I'm a worthless piece of shizai. So, I'm about to getting dropped here. It's awful. I'm feeling all bad and old now.
Oh, man. How the mighty have fallen, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go home and just retire.
So, Jens, we always had fun with you at the Amgen Tour of California talking about the kids, and they're growing up now. I got to think that your oldest son has got to be halfway through college.
He just started university 1 year. He studies law, but he's on a creative break right now. He said, no, Dad, law is not me. After a year, he said, Dad.
And he calls it a creative break, huh?
Yes. Okay. So he's going to sign up. He wants to do something with art. The next semester starts in October in Germany. So he signed up for that. So this summer he takes off. And
he wasn't the lacrosse kid, though, yes, or he is. Okay.
He still plays lacrosse. Yes, he still does. And people, lacrosse. It's a pretty, no, I wouldn't say violent, but physical sport.
Like hockey.
Yeah, like hockey. And I always tell him, it's like an inside joke between him and me. Every time he leaves for a game or for training, I go, hey, say about the balance. And what I mean the balance is the balance between receiving pain and dealing out pain. So that you should have a neutral balance when you come home. You should deliver as much pain or hits as you got. So my wife doesn't really follow like that joke so much. Fortunately, because otherwise she would be concerned for the security of her son. But yeah, I always go, hey Mark, remember the balance.
Hey, so, all right, Jens, I don't think we need to tell you twice. Guys, we're going to hit out for the finish line. So go ahead. We can start picking up. Look, you can see guys jumping already here. So, all right, we're going to charge to the finish line now. Great job by everyone out there. Are your kids, and Jens, I know it's going to get a little harder to talk right now. Are your kids aware of the popularity that you have in America? Have they caught on to what's happened here?
No, not at all. Right. And I think sort of like it's a healthy way of like raising your kids. They don't know. Every now and then I get recognized at home, or actually a lot. And the kids,
do they find that weird?
Yeah, they go, Dad, do you know that guy? No. Why did you say hi to him? Oh, he recognized me. And then I go, they ask why they would know me. I said, oh, I'm a little bit famous. They go, no. How can you be famous? You're just Dad.
And you're not even that smart.
Yeah, exactly.
That's class. Jens, it is so great. And hey, everybody who isn't already signed up for Letap California, please do. We're going to have great numbers out there this year. Jens will be riding with you. I bet you some of Jens's friends, maybe Aaron Olson, who owns a coffee shop there in Santa Barbara. I don't know if you had a chance to go by. Handlebar. And yes, maybe we can get Aaron and Kim Anderson, his wife, who also was a top-level pro cyclist. So Santa Barbara has a really strong cycling community. So having Letap there with Jens, we certainly hope we see. And, man, we are definitely picking it up now. Our Zwift crew, Stokey, Jens Voigt! We move into the business end of this. this ride. Jens is now a human wattage cottage. Jens is like, please no. Jens, I can't thank you enough for the entertainment. As they say in the movie Gladiator, are you not entertained? And man, you definitely entertained us for almost 20 years of a professional career. And now it doesn't stop. Jens is going to be on NBC Sports doing some of the broadcast from doing the broadcast from the Amgen Tour of California. And like we said, Jens has a new book coming out on the 3rd. Get a copy. He'll sign it for you. And if Jens won't sign it, I will.
Well, that's a good deal. That's a good deal.
A big thank you again to all of our friends from Zwift. Jens is bearing it, going nuclear right now on the front of this new. Come on, Jensie. Come on, Jensie. The big dig. Now I think we're going to see our finish arch in just a moment. This is how you finish up a stage of the Amgen Tour of California as we move into the final 50 meters. Great job out there, and it looks like Jens is going to close it down. Nice job. I don't know what was tougher, this or Avila Beach.
Well, I guess pretty much this one. Hoi, hoi, hoi.
All right, such an honor to have Jens Voigt joining us here at Zwift Headquarters, and certainly Justin and Mark. Guys, great job out there. Really appreciate you being a part of the Zwift family. No doubt about it. So once again, I want to thank our friends joining us here at Zwift Headquarters from the Amgen Tour of California, Ryan Ung and Kelly Staley. And we've got some great prizes that we're going to be randomly assigning out there. I believe that we have a Mark Cavendish Sprinters jersey that he has autographed, as well as some other great Amgen Tour of California merchandise that you could find at amgentourcalifornia.com. So, well, that was an awesome 3 laps, Jens. You were the first person we ever had racing with us here on Zwift, or riding with us here on Zwift, going back to Amgen Tour of California last year. So this year, got to say thanks a lot for coming, but we'd love to have you back.
Oh, definitely I will be back. As I said, after next Monday, fly to Australia for 10 days, and I come back here for the Tour of California. I'm pretty sure we can arrange another Zwift ride in about 2 weeks from now.
Perfect. Great. So once again, thank you everyone here at Zwift. Jens, and definitely want to say thanks again. Mark, I hope you had a good time. Was it what you hoped it would be?
Yeah, that and more.
Beautiful. We'll look forward to seeing you on Zwift. And Justin, take those good vibes and great attitude back to Atlanta for us. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Watopia again soon. But thanks a lot for coming out.
Thanks. I'm glad Zwift brought us out here.
Well, and we're glad to have our friends at Zwift really, really believing in making cycling better for everybody. So I'm Dave Towle saying go see Jens at Le Tap on Sunday, and we'll see you in San Diego to roll out the Amgen Tour of California, the 11th edition. And it's going to be the strongest field we've ever seen. So thanks a lot, Jens.
Thanks for coming out today and riding with me. Thanks for making this, such a great event. Close to 600 people. That was pretty awesome.
Perfect. We'll see you on Watopia soon.